Hey everyone, welcome back to the High Five a Day podcast here with our guest, Perri Goldstein. Excited to have her on today. She's a talent agent and actress, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
and an avid pickleball player. So we're going to have to hear some more about that today. But Perri, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Of course, super excited to get to know you a little bit more and hear more about your story and just the things that you're doing. Um, as I was kind of going through your Instagram to just kind of see the different projects you're working on and the things that are kind of central to you. Pickleball is a
Pickleball is
big
very
thing on
central,
there.
yeah.
Tell me some more about that.
Oh boy. So I let's see. I used to play some tennis growing up and I remember really loving it, but I had other passions and I kind of got away from tennis, but I would always pick it up here and there, like over summers, play with my mom. And then over the pandemic, I played with my brother-in-law and my sister and my mom a lot. And then in April of this year, so, okay, let me go back a little bit more. So, I used to play during the pandemic, I played tennis at a local tennis club because it was the only sport that you could play during the
Mm.
pandemic because you were like so far away from the other person. So, when I wanted to get some good exercise, I was like, let me do some tennis. So, I was playing tennis and I remember seeing some people playing pickleball in a room nearby, but they were just like dinking up at the net. And I was like, what are they doing? This looks so boring and silly. And like I thought it was for the older generations. I thought it was tiny tennis for people who couldn't play tennis anymore. So that was like almost 6 years ago. And then fast forward almost 6 years, 6 years, and we go on vacation, and my brother-in-law is obsessed, and he's like, "Let's try it." So we went out to the court. We played for 5 minutes, and I was hooked. I came home from vacation, and I haven't stopped playing in 7 months. I play like 4 or 5 times a week. I've joined two different, like an all-state club, a cross club, a paddle wars club. I'm in like a bunch of these team reaches with all these different players and clubs and programs, and I can sometimes play like 4 hours a day. I'm very addicted. I play tournaments every weekend. I drove to Delaware one day, one Friday morning, just to play in a tournament. So I'm like sufficiently addicted to this game.
That's so awesome. I love that. I mean, I feel like it's one of those things that if you get into it right now, like you get into it. It's all or
Yeah,
nothing.
it's true. And like there's just something about it's kind of like I don't even know how to describe it. So dinking is like the point of the game. Dinking is like getting close to the net and just like
Mhm.
very lightly dinking it over. And that's what I saw these people doing when I swore it off. And now I'm obsessed with it. I can't stop doing it. It's my favorite thing in the world. Like one of my favorite things in the world. And I don't know. It's just there's like a social aspect to it. There's a competitive aspect to it. The people are pickleball people are fun. The energy is fun. It's like I get it now. I'm not a sports person. Like I don't like baseball or basketball or football. But when I go to play and then go to watch, like I get it. I get why people are fans of sports now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just there's like an energy to it. It's like playing chess in your mind. When you're looking at the people across the court, like where am I going to put the ball? What shot am I going to do? So for those however long, 2 hours that you play, you get out of your head and out of whatever's like bothering you, your life, and you're just focusing on what's in front of you. So it's like a very present sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that point just in kind of any activity in general where you're out with other people and you're doing something, it just kind of takes all of your attention. You're outside yourself. And
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
just changes you in a whole lot of ways. And like you say, it just helps you kind of de-stress, calm down, and just kind of let it all out.
Exactly. And there's nothing like smashing a pickleball at another person. Hopefully you don't hit them, but it happens.
Yeah, my wife's she's been wanting to get into it. And I'm like, are you sure about this? Because if we get in, we're
hmm
never coming out. We're
hmm
stuck.
But it'd be
We're
so fun for
committed.
you two to be pickleball partners. I would give anything for my fiance to be my pickleball partner, but he won't play.
Yeah, we need to. She's in medical school, so we keep busy. And she's like, we need to find our one activity that we can go and do, and we have time for. I'm like,
That's a
it's
great
probably a good
one. Oh,
one.
I hope you do play.
We hope so too. There's an outdoor park nearby. Now it's getting colder, so we'll probably have to look other places. But
Where are you located? Or you don't have to
I'm
tell
in
your audience, but what state are you in?
I'm in Boise, Idaho. So
Oh, cool. Awesome.
yeah, so we're coming to the middle of fall, so it's getting a little bit chilly.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of places to play out here, so hopefully some places start moving in your direction and starts like yeah, we have like I don't even know how many clubs. It's ridiculous. I can play so many places right now. It's just insane.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about what you do, kind of your story. You're a talent agent. Is that right?
Yeah, I am.
How
I
did
work in the commercial department of Vermonte Artists. It's a New York City-based talent agency, so I strictly work on commercials. So
okay.
breakdowns come out, anything that you might see on TV could potentially have one of my clients in it. I see anything, all the breakdowns, anything from like Target to Amazon to
Wow.
credit card companies, just like all the stuff that you see on TV.
Okay. And what does one like specialize in? What kind of education do you get, or what do you have to do to become a talent agent? Like, how do you find that spot?
I went to school for musical theater, so my initial
Okay.
goal was to work on Broadway and work in the theater world.
Okay.
But I did a couple of shows out of college, and then this is like a whole other story, but like got sick with depression, so I was kind of
Mm,
out of that world for about 2 years. And when I wanted to come back in to the entertainment industry in some way, I came back in as a casting director for TV and film, and I
okay.
worked with a woman named Rita Powers. And then I transitioned to working on camera, so I was doing like TV and film and commercial myself. So I was acting in that, and then in 2016, I became an agent. I with my agency. So the agency that I was actually
Okay.
rep by hired me and my best friend to be the TV, film, and commercial agents. So it was just kind of like a natural transition. And I did that for 2 years and then went back to commercial acting. And then after the pandemic, the industry just changed completely and shifted, and my life took a complete 180. And I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I tried working as a substitute teacher. I tried working at Starbucks. And then I was like, oh, I've been an agent before. Like, let me reach out to Albert, who's my boss. He was looking for an intern. And I just, on a whim was like, are you by any chance looking for an agent? And he said yes for my commercial department. And it was the perfect fit. So I went to school for it. I have a lot of experience in that world. And it was just kind of for me a natural um, career move to move into being a talent agent.
Well, that's super awesome. Super awesome. I haven't been involved in any kind of musical theater since high school, and I
Really?
wasn't any kind of I wasn't any kind of talent then, but it's always a fun thing, and I think everybody, has the dream of, being on TV someday
So,
and
yeah.
doing that kind of thing. So
Do you remember what musicals you did in high school?
I do. I mean, high school wasn't that long ago for me, so um, we just did a lot of like Disney Junior shows.
Yeah.
So when I was in, we did Into the Woods was my first
Oh, that's
one.
a good one.
We did Beauty and the Beast, and then we did Frozen, which wasn't the best one, but it
Cute.
was it was a fun time.
So you did all that? Good for you.
I did. I I mean I'm a pretty introverted person. Definitely in high school, I was a lot more shy as a reflection of that too. So I starting out did not want to do it. I think I
Right.
tried out, and then I told the director, I was like, actually, I'm not going to do it. So like, don't even worry about calling me back. And then I think my mom was like, yeah, that's not happening. She like made sure that if there's a spot for him, call him back.
That's so cool. I would say that like musical theater got me out of my shell. It's
Mm,
like for me, I was a very shy child as well, and I barely spoke, and my parents were like, "Well, let's get her singing lessons." And then I was like, singing turned into where can I sing? And it was on stage. So like musical theater and theater in general, just I felt like it gave me a voice, you know? It's
mhm.
like I don't have to worry about who I'm speaking to because that person is put on stage with me. I don't have to worry about what I
Yeah.
say because the script was given to me. So it kind of gets you out of your shell naturally without having to like have any anxiety over it. I don't know. It was just a great way to
No,
like,
I
yeah.
totally agree. Totally agree. It was a fun time because I could just be whoever, but it wasn't me, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm so glad you got to do that. That's so fun.
Yeah, it was a great time. I probably won't ever pursue that again, but you never know.
You
So,
never know. You never know.
so you've kind of gone through that. That's what you're working in now. What are some of the exciting things of your job that you like look forward to day to day?
I love working with other creatives, so I love interacting with my actors. I love telling them when they have auditions or callbacks or bookings. That's my favorite part of the job. And I also love discovering new talent and giving them an
Hmm.
opportunity to work with an agency for either the first time or work with a new agency, and then just providing and just seeing what opportunities arise for them and following their careers. I think for me, it's like I looked forward to that every day. So now I get to be the person that sort of like shows up in their inbox and brings a little bit of extra joy to their day. And I look forward to it. I was just at my mom's on Sunday, and she was like, "Oh, and I felt bad about this, but she was like, "Oh, I can't believe the weekend's over. I have to go back to work." And I was like, "Oh, I can't wait." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you feel bad. Like, I just love when Monday comes along and I get to see what auditions come in, what breakdowns come out, and like who I'm gonna be able to surprise that week with another audition or something." So, um, for me, it's like everything that I always wanted, but now I get to like vicariously live through everybody.
That's super cool. And it's like you get to find your joy in helping them find the
Yeah,
excitement in what
I
they
do.
do. So that's super cool.
Yeah, I love it. It's just like, and you get to build relationships with other people in the industry, other casting directors and producers and agents, ad agencies, and it's kind of like very reaffirming and reassuring that everything that I did up to this point was worth it too. And I
Yeah.
never really, and every choice that I made sort of led into this direction. So it's very, it's just like reaffirming for me that I made some good choices in
Yeah.
life.
Do you have any like big projects that you got to be a part of, or like some big names that you've gotten to work with that you're just like, like
Hmm.
those are like kind of like your
Oh,
big achievements? Like,
yeah. When I was at Across the Board Talent, do you know the show on Netflix? It's the Karate Kid, the new Karate Kid. What's it called?
oh yes, I know what
Oh,
you're talking about, but I
yeah,
can't think of the name either. Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai. So one of our clients was the gentleman who played the bad dojo owner, like the
Okay.
one. He's also from the original Karate Kid movie. I can't
Hmm.
remember his name, but he was one of our clients. So I got to like submit him for jobs and stuff. And now he's like getting super big again because he's all over Cobra Kai. So that's like my biggest name, and also a couple of Broadway stars. Um, a few, and then now not so much, but hopefully in the future, my clients will be well-known household, like kind of like Flo in the progressive commercial. That would be great. But yeah, the commercial world, people tend to be a little bit on the more unknown side and
Yeah.
kind of fly under the radar. But you know how when you watch commercials and you're like, oh, I saw that person in that other commercial and that other commercial.
Hmm.
Like that's the goal in commercials, is to be like, oh, I know that person's in so many commercials right now, but you don't know their name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super cool. I think. Yeah, I love that aspect of like a good commercial that kind of tells the story, and so you like connect with it more, like Jake from State Farm and Will from Progressive.
Yeah.
I guess the insurance companies really got it down, but
Yeah. It's true. Progressive State Farm. What else is there? NJ. Well, out here we have NJM, New Jersey. It has a good one too, like mascot one. And yeah, there's you're right. They do have it down.
they must know something. That's awesome. I was reading your post the other day. You're talking about how you don't listen to the radio when you drive, and it's
Yeah.
like it's your time for, and hopefully I don't butcher this because I don't want to. It's your time for listening to Hashem. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So tell me some more about that because I loved everything you said in there.
Yeah. So Hashem is a name that in the Jewish faith that we use for God. And it's sort of like it's just like another name for God instead of like Adonai or God or Yahweh. We say Hashem. I think of it as like a very like term of endearment. I feel like it's like a very like it's a like there's a closeness that I feel when I use that name
Yeah.
as opposed to God. And I so how do I so I transitioned to being a more religious Jewish woman in the past year and a half.
Okay.
So I've been more observant in my faith, and I don't remember why I stopped listening to the radio, but I started listening to the Torah on my phone. So I downloaded the Torah on Amazon and I would just listen to that. And it takes about 13 hours to listen to it straight through. So I was just
Hmm.
listening to the Torah, and then I listened to it twice, and then I never turned my radio back on. And I felt like I had time to really be aware of my thoughts and the conversations that were happening in my mind, and if they
Yeah.
were my thoughts or if there was a conversation. I became much more present because we don't really have a lot of time in our day to like, unless you choose to take some time to meditate or do something that takes your mind off of the past, the future, your work. So when I drove, it's like my eyes would open and my ears would
Hmm.
open and I would see what was actually in front of me and not, it's like my spiritual eyes and ears would open,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. And I found myself being like very present. Like I saw a fox in the field and I was like, oh, that's so cute. Look at that fox. And like my eyes followed the fox and then I don't know, I'll just be like driving and say, oh, I want to stop at Dunkin' on the way home. So my thoughts became very present as opposed to like any anxiety over the past or the future or thinking about something that had happened or hasn't happened yet. And the radio just like, I find that if I listen to it, I get music stuck in my head. So I'll get
Hmm.
lyrics or songs stuck in my head. And I feel like that time also takes away from your higher self being aware of that what's truly going on in your own mind. And
Yeah.
I saw a video the other day of this woman. She was trying to explain if your thoughts were your thoughts or if your thoughts were from God. And sometimes it's a mixture of both. And if you have other people's thoughts stuck in your head, whether it's music or radio conversations or like anything when you're trying to be mindful, you take that time away from that relationship. So I just
Yeah.
haven't listened to my radio. And I did catch a song on the radio for like 3 seconds, and that music was stuck in my head for the next 2 hours. So I was like, I can't
Wow.
listen. Yeah, this one lyric, I couldn't get it out of my head. And I can't, I don't think I can go back to listening to the radio. So, I mean, I think I would go back to listening to like books on tape or of a topic that I'm like super interested in. But for the time being, like I want to be super aware of my own thoughts and Hashem's thoughts, and if I'm getting any answers or spiritual, in my relationship with Hashem. And yeah, I just feel like driving is such a good time to have that time. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think that's super awesome. I know for me, a couple of years ago, I had like there would be like a time once a week where I'd have like a 45-minute drive home in the evenings, and so I'd take that time, and I would just pray as I drove. Obviously,
Yeah,
eyes open, and I just kind of let my thoughts out and listen.
yeah,
And like you say, it's just like a great time to be super present with yourself and with God and hearing what He was trying to communicate to me and
yeah,
understanding. And it just felt so eye-opening and just felt so good afterward. Like you said, like all the stresses and anxieties, they just kind of
yeah.
dissipated and they weren't at the forefront of your mind anymore. So I love every bit of that and I totally agree.
Yeah,
So
I love that you like can relate, and I feel like that flow of words coming out of your mouth, and then your ears hearing your own thoughts, like you get a lot of answers, and you get a lot
yeah.
of like just clarity, and I love that. Yeah, it's just something I recommended it to a friend. I don't know if he actually did it the other day, but um, I was like, yeah, just try it. Just see how it feels to like sit in silence, but not be, sitting with your eyes closed, purposely meditating, just an
Yeah.
open-eyed meditation. And I love that you like would pray when you drive. I think that's beautiful. Um, I'm not so much of like a vocal prayer,
Hmm.
but I want to be more, but sometimes the words don't come from my brain to my lips.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But I love that. That's beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. It was a great experience for me. I don't do as much driving anymore, so I haven't thought to do that as much. But yeah, but just your other thought too about, having, those other sounds, nothing bad about them necessarily, but just
Yeah.
they kind of take place in your minds like,
Yeah.
naturally they're going to. And I noticed that a lot. I'm about to graduate college. I'm not on campus anymore, but
Oh,
walking
congratulations.
around campus, thank you. I remember just walking around campus, and it's just super common, especially nowadays. Like everybody between classes, as soon as you walk out of the classroom, you're on to your next one. Just throw your headphones in,
Yeah.
and your head's down, and you're just barreling forward. And I would just get frustrated with that. I'm just like, everyone just like no one smiles at you anymore, no one's looking at you, and
Yeah.
it's just like if you try to say hi to somebody, they almost like glare at you. I'm just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And so I'd like make it intentional for me just to take them out and try and just notice people. It
Hmm.
didn't really lead to anything because everyone just had their head down and wasn't going to listen to me anyways, but it was so fun for me because more than anything else, I would just get to see people that I already knew and say hi to them, just kind of maintain that relationship. But then occasionally I'd see, the one or two people that looked like they were having, maybe a rough day or a little bit more down than anybody else. And you could just give them a high five and say, hey, how's it going? Or just like,
Exactly. Yeah.
it's like you needed a smile today. So
Yeah, you become very much more observant and aware of what's around you when your senses aren't being overloaded. So
yeah,
I was never a like mutant. I was never a earpod or AirPod listener. Like I would maybe sometimes when I went for runs. But for the most part, I wasn't someone who like walked around the city with, earpods in my ears, or I was always very like sense present.
yeah,
So like and I think that also comes from like being an actor, just being aware of behavior and body
yeah,
language and being sensitive to other people's like emotional states. But yeah, it's very true. When I walk into a space now and there's other people present, there's almost like a very strong sense of like arriving. I can't even put it into words, but it's just like,
yeah,
okay, now my consciousness has entered this room and like this is what's happening and I can see like everything.
yeah,
I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like a heightened awareness because there's so much silence in the drive, and then you arrive at
yeah.
a place where like people are congregating, and then you're just like, I don't know, you're just like aware of everything in the room. I can't describe it.
I think I kind of get what you're saying. You're just like, you can kind of walk in somewhere, and if you're pretty present with yourself already, you can kind of get a feel for like, this group of people over here is doing this, and that group of
Yeah,
people over there, like this is kind of going on. And you can kind of
yeah,
feel like almost where you need to insert yourself or
yes, exactly. Yes, yes, you got it. Yes.
perfect. No, that's awesome. I think for me, I started to do that a lot because right before I went to college, I'd lived in Central America for a year. And
Cool.
so I was helping people down there, and it's just part of the culture in Central America. Like everybody, whether you know them or not, says hi to you, and you say hi back. Like you just say hi to everyone on the street. Um, and so I just love that. I just love that aspect of their culture. And so I came back to the States and I went to school. And I was just like, I'm going to say hi to everybody.
Yeah.
And my first week I started doing it. I literally got people that glared at me. I'm like, what's up with you? I was like, I
Yeah.
didn't do anything. And so
We're
I
not
just
used
started
to
to
it.
like, yeah. So I just started to kind of notice that in people. And like, it kind of helped me pick out people that I could tell were not doing as well.
Yeah.
And for you, you mentioned, and you don't need to go into this at all, but you mentioned that a couple years ago you kind of fallen into some bouts of depression, and coming out
Yes.
of that,
Yeah.
do you feel like you're able to notice other people that are going through that, whether or not they say anything?
Yes and no. So, um,
And you don't need to dive
no,
into
I
that
don't
either
know.
if you don't
That's a
want
good
to.
question. Like, I think I'm in a place right now where I'm a little bit more self-centered because I'm trying to like rebuild myself and my life. So I think I'm a
Yeah,
little less aware of other people's emotional states. But what
yeah,
I do find is that I attract people of like minds and like
hmm,
thoughts and experiences. So I find myself having a lot of conversations with people about mental health and mindfulness and being present and like attracting those conversations and attracting
yeah,
those people into my life. So there must be some kind of openness, but I definitely am a little bit more closed off when it comes to like accepting other people's energies at the moment.
right, yeah,
Um, but in the past, I have been more heightened and aware of other people's, like knowing that somebody's going through something just by looking at them and looking into their eyes.
yeah. That's super cool. And I mean, that's a lot about what overall the message that I want to share within this podcast is just giving people a place that they can come and, like you say, hearing like minded experiences,
Yeah.
the kind of people that have a similar narrative and similar experiences and stories, so that when you come and listen, you can hear, like, oh, this person went through this. I'm going through this right now. This is what they did. This is how they, helped themselves in a way. Let me try
Yeah.
that, see how it
Yeah.
works for me.
Yeah. I love that. I love sharing. I try to do my best to share what I've learned only from my own experience with friends or family who are going through something. Sometimes I'm like, take it with a grain of salt because like I don't take it for, just take it for what it is. Like try it. If it doesn't work, I'm sorry. But like I know what's worked for me and I know where I was and where I am now. And like I do my best to try to word it and articulate and hopefully help my friends, and everybody's going through something and all the time. So it's not always easy to spot, but I do find that like I personally want to carry an openness of like you can talk to me about this stuff and I'm happy like I want people to open up and that's definitely been happening. So that's really nice and I've gotten friendly with new people that I've met because we kind of relate on that mental health, mental struggle level. Um
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
that's awesome. And this is kind of a shift, but it seems like that your family is kind of a big part of you and everything you do. Um, and why would you say that is? Like, why is it so important and vital to you?
My sister had a baby 2 years ago. She's also pregnant with my second niece. So my niece came along, and I'll be honest, we weren't very close until she was born. She kind of
Hmm.
like brought us all together. So we had a lot of issues growing up between me and my mom, my dad. I had a lot of like, um, my relationships were strained with them. They were very different, both very different with me. My sister and I weren't very close. I just kind of like didn't know how to be a sister. No
Yeah,
one was my sister, so I didn't know like what a sister was supposed to do. And like I wasn't good at making friends growing up. I just didn't know how to do it. So like naturally I couldn't figure out how to be a sister. And I was very focused on my interests and hobbies. And so my niece came along 2 years ago and she's just like an unconditional lover of everyone. So she like to have someone come into our family who loves everyone equally and openly kind of like opened all of our eyes.
yeah.
You know, I can't describe it. So she brings us all together every Tuesday, every Friday, almost every Sunday. We all get together and have dinner and hang out. And it's all because of Emery. We want to, yes, we all get to spend time with each other. Yes. But it's really because we can't wait we all equally cannot wait to see Emery and spend time with her and just like see how she grows and reacts to us and like our relationship with her. And it's just helped our whole family. And I've made realizations that like family is meant to be your family, like from Hashem. He gives you your family for a reason. And these relationships are meant to be nourished for a reason. And I have spent more time with my family in the last year than I have ever spent with my family. And they're like my best friends now. My niece is my best friend. My sister is like, I go to her house every a couple times a week. And like, I never thought this would be what I would be doing because it wasn't something I ever thought of in the past. So yeah, my family is my best friend right now.
That's awesome. I love that. I grew up in a rather large family. I have 9 siblings,
Oh
so
my God.
there's a lot of us, and so
Oh, that's so
we
cool.
we learned to get along. Otherwise, it was pure chaos all the
Yeah.
time. And
Are you
so
the youngest or like we're somewhere in the middle?
I'm the second oldest, so I have an older
Oh, cool.
brother. He just had his first boy
Congratulations.
earlier this year, so we have our first nephew in the family, and
So
everyone loves him.
exciting. Yes. What's
Um,
his name?
his name is Lincoln, so
So cute. Oh, we were thinking
everybody
about
loves him.
naming her Lincoln too. Our next niece. We were thinking about naming her Lincoln. I
Oh, that's
think
awesome.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a rambunctious party when we all get together. But like you say, it's just a great thing, and we're each other's best friends because there's almost just not even time for anything else, especially when you
Yeah.
put them first, and it's such a great experience, honestly.
How young is the your youngest sibling?
He is 6.5.
Stop it. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's so cute. That's
So
so cool. You get to like literally watch him grow and
yeah,
become like your brother. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
He was born my older brother right before my older brother graduated high school, and I was going to start my junior year of high school. So my older brother and I were, I mean, my older brother was an adult, and I was almost there. So yeah, it's been so fun to kind of watch him grow. And when
Yeah.
I was, out of the country for a year and coming back, and just like everybody had grown a foot and
Yeah.
changed so much, it was so cool to see.
That is cool. I always kind of sort of wished I had a baby sister like when I was an adult, you know? I don't know. Like if it was my baby, but like without the responsibility. Just like that's how I feel about my niece too. Like I just get to play with her and buy her stuff, but I don't have to do any of the other things. My baby, my
Yeah,
baby.
it is. It's a fun time. So I mean, yeah, I love getting to watch my little brother and kind of be there, be an example for him. Then above him, um, I just have a bunch of sisters, so I love getting
Very
to take care of
cool.
them and be the protective big brother, and
You're so lucky. That's awesome.
so it's a great time. Because yeah, so I just echoed with what I was seeing about and what you've been saying about family being a big part of everything that you're doing, because same here.
Yeah. Oh, you're so lucky. That's so cool.
It's awesome. Trying to think here. I think I had a couple other questions, but they're leaving my mind right now. As we kind of come to a close here, because I try not to take too much of your time and
Oh, no, you're
try to
fine.
keep it semi-short for listeners. But as you kind of think over, the different experiences you're having right now, or big ones that have impacted you in the past, what are like 1 to 2 things that you've learned throughout your life or learning right now that, if given the chance, you would share with, a younger version with yourself, whether that's yourself a year ago, 2 years ago, when you were a young teenager, what would one of those things be?
I think there are a few things, some things that I haven't even thought of yet. So I'm thinking about them now. But some of my favorite quotes that I've sort of adopted over time is that the best day of your life is the one that you're currently living. Meaning, like, you can't relive a past day that in that day you thought was like the best day ever. And you can't go back. So you have, today really is the only now that you have. So it really is the best day, because no matter what happens, I mean, things are going to happen always, but um, the day you're in is, I don't even know how to put into words, but like the day you're in is the only day, even if
Yep.
you have like a memory about like another day. So I have that quote. I have, you can only be where you are. So like learning how to be very present in the moment that you're in. I think if I could go back to my younger self, I would say that Hashem has a plan for all of us, and it isn't always the one that we want for ourselves. And it's
Yeah.
okay to let life, like if you're on a tree and there's branches, it's okay to follow different branches. It doesn't mean that you failed at one thing, or that you didn't accomplish what you set out to do, but we all have many branches, and it's okay to follow different ones. And that, I think, I wish I would have believed in Hashem sooner, because I realized that Hashem was always there for me, but I just wasn't recognizing Hashem's presence in my life. So I kind of wish that I had believed in Hashem when I was younger, just to see where life would have taken me. But like at the end of the day, I think we all end up, I don't know what to say. This is hard. This is a hard question. Um, it's hard to put into words. Um, so I wake up every day grateful that I get to live another day, that my soul has been returned to me after sleep, and I get to just experience another day. So I wish that I had been more relaxed growing up and just taken the day as it comes, not try to control every
Yeah.
moment or every relationship or every interaction. Just sort of let the day find me in a way, and just be more present and be more relaxed, less competitive. I was in a very, very competitive field, and just realized that there was so much more to life than what you're pursuing. Like there's more to life than
Yeah.
your career. There's more to life than what you're studying in school. There's more to life than performing on stage. I feel like I missed out on a lot of aspects of life growing up. I don't know if that answers the question, but I would
No, I
say,
think
yeah, yeah.
that's perfect. That's perfect. I love all those points, and I couldn't agree more with each one of them. I think they have just great value to them, and great direction for anybody.
Yeah, I hope
So
so.
thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, of course, I'm happy to.
Well, awesome. Just kind of as we come to a close here, for any of my listeners that want to find and see the things that you're doing, where's the best place that they can follow you at?
Yeah, you can follow me on my Instagram. It's at Very Perri, VerryPerri. If you're any actors listening out there and you want to break into the commercial world, you are welcome to email me as well. That is Perri at Bramante, Bramante artists.com. I love meeting new actors, so send me your headshots, resumes, reels. Send it to your friends. Very accessible that way. And yeah, I'm just like super grateful that we were able to meet today, and I was able to meet you and have these these deep conversations, and kind of it's nice to talk about stuff that you think about all the time with someone else, because you realize that how similar we all are and how this
Yeah.
human experience is shared, and you're not alone in your realizations and your experiences. So it's always nice to meet new people and have these important conversations.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on and being willing to open up and share all these things. So it's been awesome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I agree.
Well, awesome. Well, for everyone listening, that's where you can find Perri and learn more about what she's doing. And thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you all.